In partnership with Redpoint Ventures, we are at Nasdaq's MarketSite celebrating the InfraRed 100 list. My name is Christina Ayanian, and joining me today is Chief Marketing Officer of Axonius, Nate Burke. Nate, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Axonius is one of the largest and fastest cybersecurity companies in the world. Can you tell us what problem Axonius is trying to solve?
Yes, I can. So the way we like to describe it is that we help our customers control complexity. And I know that's kind of like a lofty thing to say. I'll tell you what I mean by that. So complexity is inevitable. It's, in fact, the second law of thermodynamics, right? And that's like a universal truth, but it's also something that we see in every organization, right? The more people you add, the more devices they have. The more devices they have, the more software. The more software, the more SaaS applications. And it just keeps multiplying. And on top of that, you have all different kinds of tools to manage and secure all of these assets. You have something different for Windows, different for cloud, different for everything. And all of this fragmentation means it's really, really difficult to get your arms around everything, to know what you have, to understand where there's risk, and to be able to control all of that environment. And so that's really where we come in. By connecting to hundreds of different data sources that know about these assets, Axonius collects, aggregates, and correlates all that asset data to show a full inventory of all the assets, to uncover risk and then automate any of the actions that need to be taken.
So you're reducing risk and you're also streamlining device management.
Yeah, absolutely. And really it's this whole idea of if you could know everything you have in your environment, all of the users, devices, all of those assets, what could you do? And the idea is we want to be this true system of record for all of the digital infrastructure.
That's incredible. Now, the company has tremendously grown. You were the first employee in the US.
Yep.
How has that change been throughout your years at Axonius?
Yeah, it seems like it's almost a different company every couple of years, right? And it's never a place where you're just saying, oh, we've arrived. It becomes a new challenge, and there's challenges with scale, and there's the time where you start off and you're scrappy and young and just everyone's jumped in to get everything done, but that changes with scale, and you have to be more efficient, and you have to be more repetitive, and you can't just out-activity the world. So at each turn, at each stage, it seems like it's a different set of challenges, and so far we've been able to meet them and still have a lot of fun doing it.
Absolutely, that's awesome. That's the best part.
Yeah.
As Chief Marketing Officer, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Is there a difference in your messaging style and your go-to-market strategy when it comes to cybersecurity companies and this industry?
I think you have to, and to me, this might be a different take, but I think in any technical industry, marketers tend to be a little bit intimidated by the tech. And what do? They rely on fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And I've often said that the next time there's a big breach, stick your head out the window, you're going to hear the sound of 1 million PowerPoints updating. And that's marketers saying, if you bought my thing, the X breach wouldn't have happened. And that really leads to this widespread distrust of vendors from the target audience. But I think that's a huge opportunity, because if you're able to just concisely, simply, and clearly say what you do and what you don't do, the bar is pretty low to build that trust. And so I approach it almost the opposite way of I don't talk about military grade anything or use those kind of terms. Instead, I like to show the humanity. I love to talk about the people behind the hacker in the hoodie that you always see. And that's really what we do in our storytelling, is get to the people behind the tech.
You're really acting as that trusted partner.
You have to.
So why should IT teams or security teams look at Axonius?
So I think in just one word, it's time, because all of the things we've talked about, manually trying to understand what devices you have, looking through different systems to find data about a system, hunting down something on a machine that you don't even know, all of that takes a lot of time. And not only that, it's opportunity cost. This is time spent by people that are highly trained in very scarce resources that didn't get into cybersecurity to go count devices. They want to do things way more strategic and much more valuable to the business. So if you're able to get rid of all of that time spent doing those things manually, you can do the more strategic things that make people better for the business.
It's a game changer for the organization. You're taking the heavy lifting off so they can focus on the strategic business decision making.
That's exactly right.
Now, I have to ask, I've seen you've been working with Olympic champion Simone Biles and CrossFit athlete Amy Bream. What is that tie between athletes and cybersecurity?
Yeah, so when we first, I guess about 2 years ago, we realized that companies that are around 1,000 employees, they had the same problem as the big enterprises, and even we have big US federal agencies as customers. So smaller companies had the same problems. And we realized, though, that we didn't have the brand yet. We didn't have the recognition. They didn't know who we were. And so we decided to do two things. First is we came up with a theme, and that was that idea of controlling complexity, really to represent the value we add by giving them that system of record for infrastructure. And the second is we had to figure out how to tell that story. And I had to figure out who in the public eye was someone that has overcome adversity, has been able to adapt to anything thrown their way. And the example I kept coming up with was Simone Biles. But of course, she's like the most marketable athlete on earth, and I'm like, there's no way she's going to even respond to us. At the same time, Amy Bream had a viral video with millions and millions of views where she was at the CrossFit Games. She tried to lift a very heavy weight, failed, tried again, failed, and starts crying. Third time, she does it. And in that 30 seconds or so, that told the story better than anything without a word. And I'm like, she just embodies this idea. So we reached out to both. And somehow we lucked out and both said yes. And we've now worked with both Simone and Amy, and you can see some of the videos on our website, and we've been able to actually give back to their charities as well. So that's been tremendously fulfilling, and it's been really something I'm incredibly proud of.
That's incredible. It's authentic storytelling, and you're bringing a sense of humanity into cybersecurity.
That's exactly right.
That's incredible. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. We look forward to continue following and having you back at Nasdaq soon.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.